Shalom, everybody. Shalom. Okay, Yishai Fleisher here, broadcasting from Judea. God bless you wherever you are. Shalom. That's right. We are Jews of Judea. That's right. I'm wearing my cowboy hat just to start off the show in a happy mode. Shalom, y'all out there, wherever you are. Let me hit shalom to the Instagram. And before we start the show, let's start letting people in. So as people are coming in, let me know where you're from so I can start giving you a shout out and a hello from wherever you are. Because I'm here from Judea, broadcasting to you with love. So please let me know where you're from in the comment section so we can start that show just right. Shalom from Spain. All right. And shalom from Ireland. Oh, Mississippi. Amarillo. Top of the morning to you. All right, good. Okay, we got places all over the world are coming in from California and from Los Angeles. Okay, people are coming and say shalom. Don't forget to say shalom. Shalom, y'all. Shalom, y'all. Come on. Come on down. Look, come on. Let me hear from you. Let me hear where you're from. Hoo-wee. Bay Harbor's Island, Miami. Shalom from Kansas City. Shalom. Shalom from the Philippines. Shalom. Shalom from Argentina. Shalom to you. That's what I'm talking about. Love this thing. Love it. Hi from England, standing with Israel daily. Amen. Shalom, y'all. That's right. That's right. I'm sending you blessings. Let's get to it. Yep. Boynton Beach, sure. UK, Germany. That's right. Everybody's saying shalom. Let everybody come on down. Come on to the show. Come on to the show. Nice hat. You bet it's a nice hat. Sheesh. I know it. That's right, shalom, y'all. That's right. I'm getting shalom, y'alls from all over the place. And that's the way to do it. Okay, look, people are shalom from Ghana, standing with Israel in prayer. Thank you very much. We're going to have a great show. Shalom from Liverpool, UK. Awesome. We're going to have an awesome show because we have a lot to talk about. We got to talk about Israel being strong in the face of all kinds of challenges. We got to talk about the Jewish people coming back to the heartland. We got to talk about the continuous effort to rebuild. And we got to talk about the greatest miracle of them all, which is the ingathering of the exiles. Is there any greater gift than the ingathering of the exiles, the rebirth of the Hebrew language, the study of the Bible, the rebuilding of Yerushalayim? Is there anything bigger than that? Absolutely not. That's the biggest stuff there is. Shalom from Canada. In Alberta, Canada, there's a lot of folks from Canada and Georgia. I don't know if that's Georgia the country or Georgia the state. There's a lot of folks from England, from Netanya. Oh, excuse me. There's Netanya, and then there's all kinds of folks. Yeah, and there is, look at this. Shalom from Sweda, Syria. All right. I guess we got a Druze brother there. Thank you very much for being with us. That's awesome. Thank you. You are a blessing, and we are sending you blessings. Now, somebody's writing says, Shalom, Yishai. I love that you're bringing attention to Hebron, one of the least appreciated holy cities. Is there anything like Hebron with the tomb of the mamas and papas? That's where I just came from. I just came from there right now. I just had an amazing time there right now. In fact, I want to upload a video that I wanted to send to you guys. Let's see if I'll have time to upload that video so I could bring it down so you could see what awesome rabbis are saying about Hebron. All right. But in any case, everybody's coming in right now, and I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited indeed that everybody's coming, and I'm in a good mood. What do you guys want to talk about? I want to hear what's on your mind today. You got to tell me what's on your mind because I know what's on my mind. But what's on your mind? Let's see. Oh, there's a problem with LinkedIn. Yo, there's a problem with LinkedIn. LinkedIn is having an issue. And that's okay. All right, we're going to put this video up for you guys soon. In any case, let us begin the show. We have a lot to discuss, but we actually have a very important guest coming in just any second. So we're going to wait for that very special guest as he's about to join us. And LinkedIn is having some kind of problem, yo. And we gotta. Well, look at that. Every time I put my head down, the camera's like jumping. I love it. It's all good. It's all good. So good to be with you. What's on your mind, my dear friends? What's on your minds today? Somebody says, "What's up with the hat?" I could put on a different hat. You want me to put on a different hat? I'll put on a different hat throughout the show. You don't have to worry. I got all kinds of hats. The hat that I'm wearing today is the hat of lovers of Israel. Oh, my delightful producer, Yo. We forgot to put the Isa Amru video. Please bring me the Isa Amru video where he goes against folks who are beautifying the land that come from the nations. All right. Where did I get this hat? Where do you think I got it? I got it in Texas. Of course. That's the way we got to start the day. That's the way we got to start it. All right, my dear friends. Any second now, we have a very special guest coming in, so I don't want to start too much of a topic before our special guest comes in the show. But I want to send you guys blessings from the Holy Land, and you can also tell me what's on your mind. Tell me what you're thinking about. Here, for example, Gary writes, "What do you think about radical jihadist Muslims landing in South Africa?" I think it's great. First thing, I'm not sure they were also radical. I think they were just some Gazans trying to get out. Were they jihadist Gazans? Could be. Could be they were just jihadists. Could be they were just Gazans that are just trying to make a life for themselves and to get out. So there was a whole airplane, and I even know who the secret person was who sent the so-called Palestinians, the Gazans, on that airplane to South Africa. I know who it was, and I'm not going to tell. But a whole plane load went to South Africa, and I think that's all right, because I think that Gazans need to find a place. They need to find a place of refuge, a place called home, and that can't be Gaza anymore, because Gaza's going to be Jewish, or at least pro-Jewish. It's got to be pro-Israel and not Gazan Hamas hell. We got to make a beautiful Gaza. We got to make it beautiful. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. Nobody's going to see anything. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. We're going to do it. It's going to be beautiful. Right? Am I doing it? Do I sound a little bit like Trump? All right. So in any case, we have a guest coming into the show. And here says Nick says, we need a whole new government agency for flying away the Arabs, helping Arabs find a place. All right. Well, our special guest has arrived, so I'm going to go right to it. Our special guest is the one and only Tzvi Yechezkeli. He is one of Israel's leading journalists and experts on the Arab world. He currently serves as the senior commentator and presenter for I-24 News. He's widely known for his in-depth reporting, undercover documentary work inside Arab and Islamic movements. Tzvi is fluent in Arabic, brings decades of field experience across the region. He's also the author of several books, including his most recent work, I Told You, It's Jihad, 30 years of coverage from Oslo to the 7th of October. Tzvi Yechezkeli, shalom, and welcome to the show.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm great. I'm in my TV studio. I like your hat. And I just finished now to give my report for the the latest news and what's happening in Beirut. Very very successful assassination, but in the Middle East you can't end of the story with assassination, because it's a way, it's a patient, and it's a large and deep procedures that happen under the ground, and now we have to deal with them. And I just explained to the Israeli audience that it will take time to disarm Hezbollah, and nobody gonna do it for us. All the American messengers and ambassadors that went to Lebanon, they went back with the same conclusion: you can't do it. You can't do it. The Lebanese can do it. Nobody will do it. And I do believe that Israel will have to do it. I don't know when, but it's have to be done.
So you're talking right now about the Hezbollah military chief who has been eliminated in Beirut.
Yeah.
His name is Haytham Ali Tibet,
Al-
Tibet.
it's like that President Trump couldn't spell the name of Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, and Obama can't say Osama bin Laden, and I would say Ali Tabta'i. Tabta'i, it's a family actually based in Iran, and then an Arabic family. He's in half. Ali Tabta'i. His first name it's Haytham, but his underground name it's Ali. Ali because he's a Shia, and most of the Shia it's only Ali and Hassan. Hassan Nasrallah Ali. So Ali Tabta'i. Never mind, he's not here.
He's not here anymore. Speaking of somebody who is here, Mohammed bin Salman was in America. He was at the White House. Now, I listen to you religiously, and I follow what you say. And oftentimes, though, I'm not surprised because I think I understand what Arabs are thinking. But you a little bit surprised me. You kind of shocked me. You told me that MBS is actually not considered a strong leader in the Middle East. That surprised me. Can you explain that?
Yeah. So first, I know that you're not surprised for me. You're an expert. You're an expert because you live in Hebron. You live inside the Arabs, and you know them because you're a Jewish. You're intelligent, and you see how they're working, and you address it. But for Mohammed bin Salman, take for example his dreams. He said that he's going to build a Neom. It's a future city. It's a line of houses and another, a lot of technological invention. For example, he planned that until 2030, most of the Saudi Arabia young people will come back to Saudi Arabia to rebuild Saudi Arabia as a country that is not counting on only on the oil energy, that it will be high tech and schooling and school and academic and so on. It didn't happen. Why? Because after all, I do believe that he's dreaming in the right direction. But MBS, he is a leader of a tribe, and he's fighting his brothers and his older princes and all the Arab leaders. When they want to do something, they have to take into consider their reality. The reality says you can't move forward because somebody threatens you. You have to be aware. You can't be open because if you will open, they're gonna come. They're gonna shoot you. So he's a weak because after 2 years, he's a weak towards Qatar. Qatar stole from him a lot of things. 2 years of war in Gaza. He didn't say nothing. What happened when we were close to sign a peace treaty? He ran away. He's just hiding behind the Palestinian issue, and we all know that he's hate them, and he's not. He don't like them. So this is not a strong leader, my friend. This is a leader that's going between the drops, try to work only for his survival, to dream about very far dreams, but nothing was implemented. And the most important thing, there is poverty. There's poverty in Saudi Arabia. Can you imagine such a huge and rich country? There is poverty. Why? Because he keep the money for himself. This is dictatorship. This is a monarch Islamic state that can't share with all the others the money and the knowledge and so on.
Wow, because like the projection of the image is here's a reformer, he's making big changes, he's building this big like signature city. You get the feeling like I thought he was like this big man on campus, but you're saying no, he's perceived as a weak leader. And that leads me to the next question. Tzvi Yechezkeli.
Just to answer, he's a good relation. He's a PR. He have a PR. He bought Ronaldo. He led the women to drive, but it's not enough.
Right. Okay. Tzvi, we've been fighting a war for 2 years. We started the war with October the 7th. Israel was sadly surprised. Shouldn't have been surprised, but it was surprised. We fought back. We've destroyed large parts of Gaza. We've killed a lot of terrorists. We smashed Hezbollah in the north. We had the whole beeper story. The Syrian regime fell and a new regime came in. The Iranian regime was struck. The nuclear threat was eliminated. So on the one hand, one, like Netanyahu, can spin that we're in great shape and that we've mowed the lawn, and everybody understands that. But there's another way to read it, which is to say, look, Israel, you have not destroyed Hamas, after 2 years of fighting, you were not able to release the hostages through war. You had to make it through deals. You released a lot of terrorists. Hamas is rebuilding. Hezbollah is rebuilding. Iran is rebuilding. Houthis are still there. So I'm asking you, from the Arab perspective, they look at Israel. Is it a winner? Is it strong? Is it defeating the jihad? Or is it actually not so successful and the jihad is growing strong and Israel's shrinking in their mind? Which one is it?
It's not so simple because everything is true. We hit them, but if you look, we're sticking to the first rule in the Middle East, in our neighborhood. You know that the great late Professor Bernard Lewis said, "Don't look at the Middle East in your Western eyes. Look how the Middle East see himself in his eyes." So let's stick to this rule and let's see how the Arab look at us. First, we're dangerous. We know how to hit. But when we hit only after they hit us. So it's a fact. We know how to hit. We're dangerous. We're deadly. We know how to strike. Amazing. But if you will see it in let's take the Shiis, all the Shiis guys. Leave Qatar and Turkey aside now. Lebanon, Iran, Hamas, Iraqi militia, Houthi, all those guys, they saw Israel as a superpower. But they said, right, if I was instead of them, I would kill myself or kill the Houthis. We didn't do it. We didn't do it. We didn't complete the job. And if you're not completing the job in the Middle East, the message to the enemy, I'm right. Because he like once Arafat, not late. But when I said to him, I said, as long as you offer me a territory, it's mean that I'm right and you're wrong. You want to amend your mistakes and give me. So we now the message to those guys, we didn't complete a job because you're still right. We have to do it. So this is the message for the Shias group. For the other group, Qatar and Turkey, is a more complicated issue because they feel they won because they stopped the demolition of Gaza. They saved Hamas from Israel to kick them out. Now they are the boss. They are the father or the mother of Hamas that now they want to be in Gaza, to rebuild Gaza, to take the money in the name of Gaza, and to save Hamas. So for your question, the answer is 80% in the Shia and 60% in the Islamic Sunni group or coalition, Qatar and Turkey. That's mean that the work is more complicated now because there is another two players that went into the field, but we have to deal with them. That's why it's easy and not so easy. It's a matter of decision, and we have to take it. We didn't complete the job yet.
Right. It's like my wife says, you get rid of 80% of the cancer. Great. You know, how much more time do you have? Do you have time for another question?
Yeah. I'm waiting here, and as long as they're not calling me, so I'm okay.
The minute they call you, you tell me no problem. We'll let you go. Tzvi, Yechezkeli, the question is like this: Qatar funded Hamas. Turkey also, as you said, part of Hamas. Okay. We had a war. We're having a war, like we just talked about. But there's a front in this war where we have to admit that we have not been 60% successful or 80% successful, and that's on the international media and international social media in Israel's standing in the world. Now, there was just a released report that Qatar has been found to have invested $100 billion in American campuses and American influence campaign. $100 billion. We also had China who deployed TikTok against Israel.
Mhm.
We have a tremendous deficit in terms of war in this other war, what I call the narrative war. What can you tell me about the narrative war, Israel's standing, and how we're fighting this war, and how our enemies are fighting this war?
For decades, we're not in the play. Israel, they don't have any message to the world because I don't know why. You know, we're dealing in our fighting. I don't know why, but we're not in the game. But who are in the game? Qatar. First, I'm very happy that you saw my show about Qatar and the university in the United States, and I hope that the American will watch it. I now at that moment I opened the Twitter or X account. Now you can see it. All the things that I'm giving in my show, you can see it. That Qatar thinking Islamic revolution. Unlike the Chinese that they want only economic controls, whatever, the Qatarian thinking 30, 40 years ahead. And they realize before 20 years that Saudi Arabia are not in the game. And the issue is the flag of the Palestinians. This is the flag of the immigrants. This is the flag of Zohran Mamdani. This is the flag of BDS from the river to the sea. Whatever you want, all the anarchists, the left, all of those the guys that they in the fringe of the reality combined themselves and joined the Palestinians. This is the most dangerous movement that Qatar led into the street, into the academic world, into the lobbying offices, into the bots in the net. You saw today that all the accounts that said that they are starving in Gaza, they not exist. They not exist anymore. So Qatar, this is the most dangerous country in the world. 300,000 people. That's it. They gave President Trump aircraft. They buying everything. They buying even the public schools in United States. And I'm not talking about universities and about research institutions and in media and so on. So now you will find, now you see it. But imagine 20 years from now, 10 years from now, the next leaders of the United States that's going out from all the best academies in the United States, they will think exactly like Mamdani thinking. And we have a problem. We can't fight this problem in a media because we don't have any such a power. We should fight it in underground. And I think that Israel, when Israel took back after if Israel attacked Hamas leaders in Qatar, we shouldn't apologize. The best thing to do is continue and to threat Qatar. If you're not stopping your really army to hit us in the net and in the social media, I will continue. And unfortunately, it didn't happen.
The Qataris are smart. It turns out that they're quite smart. And it turns out that Hamas is also quite smart. There was a released report today that they have been following 100,000 Israeli soldiers, that they have an army of intelligence officials, over 3,000 some intelligence gatherers that were putting together exactly how to disable Israeli tanks with pressing a secret button and other things. They really are quite smart. One of the problems that we have in Israel is we've underestimated our enemy. Tell me a little bit about the Israeli mentality vis-a-vis our enemies.
The Israeli mentality says they Arabs, and even the head of the security services of us, when he fought in Gaza, or when he tried to enter Yishai in one head, he said, in the end of the day, we could be friends. He's a Palestinian, because if I will give him a permission to work in Israel, he will take it. He needs money. That's the Israeli policy, that I can buy them. It's an American policy as well towards the wars, Afghanistan, Iraq, so on. So if you are thinking that you can buy them, you can't see the real dangers of them. You underestimate them because they're very clever. They're Islamistic. They have a target to conquer all the world with the Islam. They don't care about their life. They don't care about their money, even about their families. They only marching to go to the goal of implementing and let the Islam control the world. So this is the first problem of the Israel. The second one, that if I see him now, I can handle it. Which means if they have rockets, I can shoot the rockets on the air. If they have tunnels, I will manage. No, You don't know what exactly what exactly they're equipping. When we entered Gaza, we found out that all the solar boards that we gave them to solaric, from the energy from the sun, became systems to watch our drones. When we gave them cameras just to keep outside the house, we realized that they use those cameras to watch us. So there's a lot of technological material that they received in the tunnel from Iran, from Egypt, from Qatar, from all of the places with the Qatarian funds, and we still don't know why. Because we thought they are Arabs. They're so primitive. No, no, no.
Backwards,
Yeah.
primitive, dumb.
The Muslim Brotherhood, all the leaders of the Muslim Brotherhood, Dr. Mahmoud Azhar, Dr. Abdelaziz Ghatlissi, Dr. Ismail Ania, all of them doctors. They studied in the West. They know us better than we know them. They know exactly science and missiles and physics and medicine, and they combining the evil with the knowledge. That's what the Western, they don't know about them. They think that they're Bin Laden going with Jalabiya in the mountains of Afghanistan. No, no. They studied this in your universities. They absorbed your knowledge to the bed. I think this is the beginning of the misunderstanding the Israelis, Hamas, and all those fractions.
Okay, last question. It's two questions actually, but last two questions. First thing is,
It's a Jewish question.
that's our Jewish question. Tell us about the future of Gaza, in your opinion. How do you see the future of Gaza? Is this deal going to work? And tell us about your book. Tell us about your book that talks about that it's jihad, stupid. It's jihad. You got to know what this is about, and all the way till October 7th, how we've misunderstood that. Those two things.
Okay, about Gaza, at the first day of the war, I said something not so popular because I know them. I said, we the Israelis, we the Jewish, we can't stay, we can't stand a long time with our hostages there. Give Yisrael whatever he wants, and then attack Gaza. And your first missile gonna be in Philadelphia, in the border with Egypt. Egypt should absorb all this river of refugees.
Open up the
If
border, you're saying. Force that
Yeah,
border open. Okay.
exactly, and open the option for immigration. This is the second Israeli mistake. President Trump spoke about immigration. When he saw that all the Arab neighborhoods are afraid, he didn't push. He said, let's go to another way. This is the mistake. I don't like President Trump initiative. I don't like it not because our hostages came back. It's amazing. It's a miracle they came back. But second stage, very, very dangerous. It's talking about that nobody can disarm Hamas. It's talking about foreign forces that will come, talking about rebuilding Gaza. And if you're going to rebuild Gaza, believe me, Yishai, my friend, the next terrorist generation going to raise up there, and they will wait for us, even with more energy that they had in the 7th of October. Gaza, the only solution for Gaza is immigration and Israeli occupation, and that's it. It's like Hassan Musab said, no solution for this piece of land after what they did. And I'm very sorry that Israeli adopted this initiative, but count on them that they will screw it up. They will do it because the passion that they have to kill us, it's more from the reasonable and from the logic and the rational. So it's gonna explode anyway. But I hope that President Trump will come back to the immigration. This is the main principle of what's supposed to be in Gaza. For your question, the second question about my book. In the beginning of Oslo Agreement, I was a young journalist after I served in the Israeli Shabak, Shin Bet, security services, and I really believe that it's going to happen. Maybe if you will give them weapons and territory, they can be our neighbors. After 3 or 4 years, Arafat told me, we did it as a Trojan horse just to kick you out of Israel. And then I realized that all the things that they operate towards us, it's jihad. Even when they steal, even when they coming to work in Israel, when they're stabbing, when they are stealing, of course, when they're doing terror attacks. I'm living in Gush Etzion. We had here last week a terror attack. 2 hours before I met the commander here, I said to him, "You're sleeping. Be aware." He said, "No, we open for them. Now they're coming to work. Economy says quiet." No. Quiet and routine. This is Western values. It's not a values in the East. And I realized that the West, they don't familiar with the Eastern thinking. That's why I wrote the book with tears, how it's happened to my people. I was so surprised. I wasn't surprised what the Hamas did because they killer. They busted. I know them. I was so surprised that we were so sleeping in a deep sleep at that day, that the head of our intelligence speaking about the climate crisis. Guys, what's happened with you? That's why my book is collecting all the things that happened in the last 30 years, and now we've been there. I lived in Hebron as an Arabic. I shared an apartment with Zacharias Bedi. He's a terrorist. I know them. I live between them. And I can tell you, it's jihad, my friend. You better wake up.
Is Mamdani a jihadist also?
Yeah, he's a quiet jihad. Jihad, it's to take an aircraft and to smash and to crash into the World Trade Center in 9/11. But quiet jihad, as you saw in my series, and I did it in the United States, it's a halal guy, it's a halal food truck in the Fifth Avenue. It's what Qatar did to the university, and it's maybe Palestinian flag in a demonstration, and entering slowly to the ministry, to the municipality of New York, like what's happened in Dearborn. There is a quiet jihad and noisy jihad. The Muslim Brotherhood care and all those guys that I penetrated as well, penetrated those organizations, they believe in a quiet jihad, and they're right. The quiet jihad is more efficient than the noisy jihad, because the noisy jihad and the terror it's bringing in a reaction.
Right, it wakes us up. It wakes us up, and the quiet jihad, we stay asleep. Tzvi Yechezkeli, your book is called, I told you, it's Jihad, 30 years of coverage from Oslo to October the 7th.
It's in Amazon, by the way.
It's on Amazon. Very good.
And soon we just complete the translation in those days. I can send you, and you will do the remarks if you don't mind.
Inshallah, I will promote it. Bezrat Hashem.
And yalla kadima.
Speaking of Allah, last question. You were talking about Israel being asleep, but there is some awakening, isn't there? There's an awakening defensively, and there's also awakening spiritually. There's a great return to identity, to the Bible, to the love of tradition, to religion, to nationalism, to a Jewish strength. Our youth are actually in a trajectory of being more nationalistic than the previous generations. There is an awakening from October 7th, is there not?
Of course, when I said sleeping, I talked about a small group of government and the high ranks of the army, all the soldiers, the majors, the commanders in the army. It's part of the people. The people is waking up. See what's happening with the Jewish identity. See what's happened to me. I was a secular. And when Zacharias pointed a gun in my head, he said, "I want to kill a Jew." I said, "I'm not a Jew. I'm a journalist." He said, "What? What is a journalist? You're a Jewish Jew." I said, "No, I'm doing a Shabbat and so on." He said, "No. In the Middle East, it's only religious." So people understood it in the 7th of October. Looks the young generation that they're praying. They more care about their Jewish identity and so on. It's happening in the people in the street. It's amazing, but it's still not coming up because politicians and so on, they stop it. But imagine 4 years from now, who is going to be our leaders, our young leaders? This is the guys that the religious. It's not a question for them. They're being Jewish people in their country. It's not going to be something like a burden or something. It's going to be a schut. Going to be something that we were honored to do. And I saw them. I see them every day in the army and in my lecture, and I'm so happy that this is the good outcome, amazing outcome from what happened, from all the pain that we have been through for the last 2 years. The next generation, 4 years from now, it's going to complete the revolution of the belief, of the emunah, of the religious, of the new Israeli Jewish combining together. And what happened to me, Kal Vachomer, will happen to all of them.
Tzvi Yechezkeli, it didn't just happen to you, but also you're a leader in teaching people about the news, about the Middle East, but also about Judaism. And that's an amazing part of your personality. We want to thank you so much for being with us. Tzvi Yechezkeli is one of Israel's leading journalists. He's a presenter and commentator at I-24 News. He's an expert in Islamic movements. He has been underground in Arab and terrorist activities. And his book that's coming out on Amazon in English is called I Told You, It's Jihad. 30 years of coverage from Oslo to October 7th. Tzvi Yechezkeli, thanks so much for being with us. We'll let you get back to your programming. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome to have Tzvi with us. Thank you very much. Awesome to have him with us. He really is a person who is not only teaching people about the problems of the Middle East, but also about getting back to Judaism. Amazing. Wow. Woo-wee. I didn't even get a chance to take off my hat. Was that awesome? Come on. That's right. See, Adam Smith, chill, writes, clap, clap, clap. And that's what I think. I think it's time for me to take off this hat. One second. Where's my kippah?
Absolutely amazing interview.
Was that great? Was that amazing?
So great.
I really enjoyed that a lot. Boy, that was high energy. I have other hats, by the way. Hold on one second. I've got other hats here. Hold on one second. Let me take this off for a second. Just hold on. You guys want to see my new hat? I just got this. I just got this hat. That's right. See, Bookmouth says I'm a man of many hats. It's true. Wait, that's right. Let's go like this. Allahu Akbar. Wait, I have to get this right. I have to give respect. Yes, my dear friends. You Jew, if you are not strong, then the jihad will get you. But if you are strong, then we will respect you. You can bring to the Middle East Abrahamic movement, but you have to have it with strength. Allah gives strength to those he loves. And if you are strong, we will respect you. And if not, we will follow you with the sword to the end of the earth. We have to be mighty in the service of Allah. And so you Jew have to be strong. When you are strong, you are Abrahamic. You are like our father Abraham. Do you like my hat? Do you like my hat? This is so real. This was found in Gaza. This is a Jordanian hat. And then my dear friends procured for me this thing, which I don't remember what it's called. There's an official name for it, of course. Yes, Allah wills it that Israel, that the Bani Israel will come back to Israel, the land of Israel. It's in the Quran. You must believe it. You must submit to the will of Allah. You have to come home and be strong in your land. It's the only way. There is no respect for people who are weak. Show your strength. Show your religion. When you eat bread on a Pesach, we no respect you. That is against the will of Allah. Do you want to submit to his will? There's only one way. Come to your land. Show it from all over the world that you wish to fulfill the will of Allah. If he ingathers you, you must come back home. And then we will respect you. And if you are in a war for land and you win land, you never give land away. Land is holy. Land is your mother. You never give your mother away. You don't give your land away. It is foolishness. It is against the will of Allah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. You are not to be weak. Weakness is despicable. Weakness is despised. This fly is despised as well. Anyway, that's the only way, my friends. I will get you. Hey, jihad against this fly. Get this fly, inshallah, I'll get it. Track me. Yes. Good job. Camera. Robotic camera. We will create new city. But the only city that needs to be created is Al-Quds, Jerusalem. That is the city that needs to be reborn. And Allah's building Jerusalem. So come back and show your honor. And we will respect you. And if you are weak, we will detest you and fight you. It is a curse to be weak. And when you are strong, we will say, Allah loves these people. They are following his will, and that's why he is blessing them. Let us together create a region free of jihad, the Abrahamic region of tourism, of medicine for our children, of honor and respect, of service. Let us do it together. But you must lead. And don't expect us to be Zionist. Don't expect us to read Rav Kook or a Herzl. We're not going to read Ben Gurion. We don't read it. We see it in action. Okay? You want us to believe you? You have to be strong. Then we will believe that you are back. Then we all say, those are our brothers. They are like us. And when you are weak with your Western talk about biz, you always want a biz. We'll take a biz. We'll take a bite out of you. Don't talk to me about biz. Biz is from Allah. When you are strong, then you have biz. Without that. And don't talk about Palestine. Palestine, never been no Palestine. It's not an Islamic concept. Al-Burak wall. Come on. Are you joking me? Muhammad was never in the Holy Land. The Holy Land is for the Jews. It says in the Quran. Please, people, come on. Wake up. Jews want peace. You want peace? You have to be strong. Then we will have peace. That's the other one. Do I have another hat? Hold on. Let me take a look. Hold on 1 second. Let's take a look if we have another hat. Hold on. Allah forgive me for taking off the keffiyeh. I love this keffiyeh. Red. I like red. I like red keffiyeh. That's good. Hold on. Oh, here we go. What do we got here? Sholem Aleichem. Was macht's? So good to see you. You have another hat? I have a hat. I have a nice hat. It's a good hat. It's a nice hat. I could use it as a wheel. If my car has a flat tire, I could use it as a wheel. Yes. We love Hashem's Torah. We're going to be strong. We're going to love the Torah. We're going to follow Hashem's will in everything we do. And we're going to ingather in the exile in Yerushalayim. We're going to bring the Jewish people to Yerushalayim. We're going to leave Brooklyn. Brooklyn, nice place. Very nice place, but we leave it. We leave it. We come back home to Yerushalayim. And we're going to fulfill the Torah and the mitzvahs for Yaakov, for Yitzchak, for Avram. It's going to be gewaldig. A beautiful Torah. We're going to have a beautiful shul on Thursday night at the Temple Mount. And then at the temple, third temple in Jerusalem, Yerushalayim, a very beautiful temple. Very beautiful temple we're going to have. Because we're going to ingather the exiles. We're going to live in the homeland. Somebody said here, Shema Yisroel. Shema Yisroel. Shema Yisroel. Shema Yisroel. What is Shema Yisroel? What does Shema Yisroel? What does it mean? What does it mean? It means Shema Yisroel. Listen, O Israel. Hear, O Israel. Hashem Elkeinu. Hashem, God, is our God right now. In the future, Hashem Echad. Hashem will be one. His name will be one throughout the whole universe. People will accept the name of the Almighty Lord in Yerushalayim throughout the whole world. Umain. That's the meaning of Shema Yisroel. In meantime, we have B&H Photo. B&H, very amazing place. Very high-tech store in 8th Avenue and 40th Street in Manhattan. We moved to Yerushalayim. We make a best store you ever seen. And we serve a children Thursday night. Going to be delicious. Okay? You're going to love it. You're going to love it. The B&H and Baruch Hashem in Eretz Yisrael. That's the way we're going to do it. Okay. We love Brooklyn. Brooklyn, good for us. We bless it. Good. We did a good job. Now we move to the Holy Land. Bezrat Hashem. Hashem should bless you and be matzliach all your way. You should be gesund and gebenched. Zeu. Umein. See, I had those the other hats. Wait, maybe I have another hat. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Maybe I have one more hat. Hold on 1 second. Yo, dudes. You dudes are like crazy, man. You're crazy, man. You want to fight forever, man? You want to like live by the sword for the rest of your life, man? Don't you know that like there's no way to keep, oh my God, man, it's like my hairline is showing. Oh my God, don't give up land anymore. Rabbi Yishai, don't give away the land. Hold on to your land. I don't know, man. Oh my gosh. I forgot to say thank you very much for this super chat, man. The super chat's awesome. You know what? Hold on. This super chat is awesome. Yeah. Oh, man, it says it backwards, man. It says total victory, but you're seeing it backwards. Oh, man, that is like messed up. Whatever. Anyway, this is a super chat. Wait, put that super chat back on. Put that super chat, yo. I want that super chat. Oh, man. Jewish people, you guys are messing stuff up, man. You're messing. In fact, let's watch a movie. Let's watch a video. So Rich says, Rich DeBusk, he's DeBuskin awesome. He says, enjoyed your interview educating ABC reporter on biblical heartland given to Abraham. Strength through truth of Zion. Thank you very much, Rich. And I want to say, if you want to have your comment read, then please super chat, okay? I need it. I need your help, dang it, okay? To keep broadcasting truth. Okay, hold on. Check this out. Let's watch Nikki. Let's watch Nikki. Do we have a video of Nikki? Let's watch him. I want to watch him. Okay, hold on 1 second. Hold on. Reactions. Where is that video, Nick? Here, check this out. Check what Nick has to say.
We are, rather, only cleverer and craftier. Their system cannot be defeated economically. They follow entirely different moral principles than we do. It can only be broken through political means. JG.
That's just cope.
So, man, you're like saying that the Jews are smarter than us. They're not smarter. They're only craftier and cleverer. And like they have a different moral thing, man. Their morality is totally different. Let's see what Nikki's got to say. Nikki, go ahead.
That's just cope. They're very smart. What benefit does it confer for us to pretend that isn't the case when you say, well, they're not smarter, they're just more crafty? Well, okay, well, what would you call that? I would call that smart.
You're right, man. The Jews are smart, man, but it's not because of their smartness. It's because God gave them seichel. It's because God's blessings. The Jews aren't actually smarter. Well, maybe they are, but I don't think so. I don't think it's about smartness. I think you're channeling God's greatness, God's goodness in this world, okay? That's where Jewish smarts come from, because they actually channel God's stuff. And if we say we're smarter, that's just haughtiness. Instead, let's just say what we really are, which is like the chosen people, man. It's chosen. Now, what are you chosen to do? To channel godliness into the world. That's the point of the Jewish story, to channel God's truth into this world, man. That's what it's about. It's not even about, see, somebody writes, God loves us, but he loves all of us. What God wants from the Jewish people is to channel his presence into this world. So I don't like it when Jews talk about Jewish smarts. It's not about Jewish smarts. It's about channeling God's truth in this world. That's how I understand the amazing stuff that Jews have been able to accomplish in all those, what do you call them? Nobel Peace Prize. It's not because the Jewish parents value education. They do. But it's really because they value education, because that's another way to channel God's knowledge, his blessings, his thoughts into the world. Get that?
What would you call cleverness? I would call that smartness. Don't be a goy. Don't be a goy and cope like that and say,
yeah, don't be a goy, man. Be a lover. First thing, the word goy is not a bad word. It means the nations. Like the Jewish people are also called a goy, like a goy kadosh, a holy nation. It's like not a bad word, goy. But like Nick is trying to take like a Jewish thing because he's culturally appropriating, in my opinion, kind of humor with joyly funniness. Okay. So he's like, don't be a goy. I get that. I think that's funny. But he's trying to say, like, hey, fly, get out of here. He's saying that like don't cope. That's his word. Like don't erase the Jewish genius. But he's not saying that they're channeling God's will.
And cope like that and say, they're not smart. They're just like, dude, they are smart. They are smart, and that is why they're winning. The answer is not to get mad about it and be in denial. The answer is to get smarter. We have to get smarter. We have to get a lot smarter.
Nicky Poo, if you were smarter, if you would get a lot smarter, you'd just be on our side. If you were like a lot smarter, you'd be like, I'm so smart that I actually figured out that this is what God wants and I want to back the Jews. If you were smart, you would back the Jews, man. But you're not getting much smarter yet, okay? You're not getting much smarter. You're being what you would call a goy. I wouldn't use that word, but you use that word. You're being dumb because you think you're trying to use your smartness to outsmart what? God? Like Bilam, you want to outsmart God? You want to build a Tower of Babel? You want to outsmart the Jews? The Jews are representative of God in this world. Nicky Poo. So what are you thinking?
We have to get smarter. Yeah,
you got to get smarter. Get in the program, bro. You know, Nick, I'm telling you, I could see you could be a rabbi in Jerusalem. Really, you could be something great. Right now, you're a toad, okay, or a groiper. What is that? What is a groiper? It sounds like a groper. I don't know what that word means. Anyway, it's like a picture of a toad. You're being like a toad, man. You got to get a lot smarter.
To get a lot smarter.
Yeah, a lot smarter. Like a lot smarter. Right now, you're like, I could bake 6 million cookies in an oven. See, that's not smart. That's not smart stuff, bro. And hating on women and black people and stuff, that's also not smart. You know, I can understand not liking communism and stuff like that, but that's not smart. You want to be smart? You want to be with the Jews. That's smartness. Okay. You want to be with the project of Israel. That's really smart. You want to be the project of rebuilding Jerusalem. That's really, really smart.
We have to work harder. We have to get smarter. We have to be better. We have to be better at it than they are.
But you're not preaching betterness, man. You're preaching like worseness. You've become like an anti-Israel person. That's just plain old dumb. Historically speaking, that's just dumb. That's not smart. That's dumb. Going against the Jews, going against the will of God, going against the building of Jerusalem, and being like, we got to get smarter so we can outsmart these smarties. Like Pharaoh thought he could outsmart the smarties, and Hitler thought he could outsmart the Jews. And guess what? Hitler helped bring about Zionism. So what's the point? You know what you're doing? You're just making more Jews make aliyah to the land of Israel. You're just helping channel more love and wealth and strength towards the land of Israel. What does it say? He makes wacko cash complaining about the Jews. It's like many lust for an outlet of Jew hate. Weird. Makes me consider Hashem as the real deal, though. See, that's what I'm saying, Nikki. You're making Matthew Herman 999 consider Hashem because of your nuttiness. So either you're being smart and you're faking your anti-Israelism so they can be more pro-Israelism, or you're not being that smart at all.
So that's not helping anybody to say, oh, well, they're just not playing by the rules. There are no rules. We're in a knife fight. They follow entirely different moral principles. That's true, but
we follow entirely, Jewish people follow entirely different moral principles. We invented the moral principles, bro. Or more properly, more correctly, we brought them down. Have you heard of the 10 Commandments, bro? Have you heard about the 10 Commandments? You have not heard of the 10 Commandments? The root of morality comes from the Jewish Bible, bro. So you're not being very smart when you're like, yeah, they run a totally different morality. What other morality do you mean? You mean the progressive morality of some Jews? I agree with you. It's a problem. We got to deal with that, but it's not going to last because that is not a biblical truth. That's a very localized time phenomenon, temporal phenomenon. And what is really happening is that the Jewish people are coming back to God, coming back to Israel, coming back to Jerusalem. And you, Nikki, can get with the program and be smart and be with us, be with Israel.
that's politics. You can't hate the game and say that's not fair, and throw the controller through the TV. You got to just get better.
Grow percent $25. The Jews are not smarter than we are. Rather, only clever.
All right. Groiper. I'm a groiper. I wouldn't want to say about myself that I'm a groiper. Blah, 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 blah. And then you're talking about other people being pedophiles. In the meantime, you're calling yourself a groiper. I don't get that. Well, folks, it's been a lot of fun, and soon we're going to have our next interview, so I'm very excited about that. Let's see if we can watch a little video before we get to our next video. And I'm having so much fun with you today, right? Are we having so much fun? Are we having so much fun together? Oh, yeah. Speaking of people in masks, speaking of groipers and people in masks, check this out. Okay, so like somebody put on an anti-Semitic show, and like it was Netanyahu and Trump eating baby parts. I don't think that it's Netanyahu and Trump are eating baby parts. I may not like all their policies. I think the Jihad is the baby killer. Yeah, I think it's the baby killer in Nigeria and everywhere else. They brainwash their babies to hate, man. That's the baby killer. It ain't Netanyahu. Netanyahu's not a baby killer. He's there to fight. He's there to fight jihadis, but he's not there to kill babies. I think that is just the classic blood libel. Oh, Jews eat the babies. They have a different morality. Well, they're a root of morality. They're the ones who want to save the babies in this world. Israeli technology, Israeli morality, Israeli will, and even obtuseness and ignorance towards the jihad because they love people so much. That's the root of actually life-saving, life-loving, life-affirming stuff. The jihad is not life-affirming, not at all. Okay, it's time to take off this mask as well. Hold on one second. Let's make sure that we can take off this mask and get back to regular Yishai. And I hope that you're having fun with me. And if you are having fun with me here today on the live stream, then please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, become a member, or check out our web store. And certainly you could also do a super chat right now. I'd love to hear from you. All right, let's take this off and get back to regular Rabbi Yishai. Where's my kippah? Where did the kippah go? Oh, kippah fell back here. Hold on one second. I can't do the show without my kippah. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. Hold on. Oh. And I'm back. Hey, Rabbi Yishai's back. Regular Rabbi Yishai. It's too boring for you? Too bad. That's what I got. Hold on. Let's put the headphones nice. This goes like this. You guys are seeing all the back. Are we having fun or not? I just want to know. Am I being like lunatic or having fun? Yocheved, tell me if everything's okay.
I think it's needed and very heartwarming, uplifting.
I don't have any more hats here. I'm out of hats. I need some more hats. Let me know what other hats I need, folks. All right. Any second now, we're going to have our other guest. Let me just make sure that he comes on right now. Would love to see him join us. And he's a very important and intellectual person that will help us understand what's going on. And I'm going to give him the old signal to him that we're ready for him. Right? With the old, I like to say on WhatsApp, if somebody didn't respond to you, then you have to give them the finger. What I mean by that, of course, is not to give them the middle finger, God forbid, because we would never suggest that or do that. What I'm talking about is the emoji that reminds you that you're being, that some previous message needs to be seen. And let's see if we are going to get our next guest. In the meantime, let's hear from some of you guys over there from around the world. Let me know. Give me a shout out and the super chat. Okay. We're going to wait for our guest to show up any minute now. In the meantime, what does it say? Hold on one second. Let me say this. What does it say? Try sombrero. Will enlighten you, Yishai. If I bring a sombrero, then I'm also going to have a cerveza with me, okay? I'm going to have, not only will I have a cerveza, I'm going to have either a Corona or a Dos Equis, okay? Dos Equis, which I used to love a lot. Great beer. But if I have too many beers here, then things will absolutely go out of control. We just got another super chat. I just purchased a rare coin from the second Jewish revolt from an Israeli collection in a big coin auction show. I purchased 23 other coins too from collection. I love this coin, this silver coin. Well, we'd love to see a picture of that. You can send me a picture to yishaifleisher.com, and I'd love to see that that coin that you got. And of course, the Jewish people have fought. We fought the Romans in 70 of the Common Era, and then again in like 125 or 135. It was 60 years later. We're thinking 135. So those coins are awesome, and some of those coins say for the Lecherut Zion, for the liberation of Zion. A Foof Kanan writes, Fuentes wants Jews to go to Israel. So does Yishai, and you forgot to say, so does Hashem. The Lord wants to bring the Jewish people back home. Remember, Fufakwan, or whatever your real name is. I got to remind you that when I was a kid, there were only 3 million Jews in the land of Israel. Today, there are 7 million Jews. So that is pretty awesome, okay? We're having some problem with the LinkedIn broadcasting, but we're going to get back to it. What else? What about the 3 oaths? There's the Talmud talks about 3 oaths of which the Jewish people are not supposed to go up to the land of Israel against the will of the nations, and that's what it talks about. But as we all know, the 3 oaths were answered already, and they're no longer applicable, and they were never halacha, Jewish law, in the first place, and that is well documented. They are not mentioned in any of the halachic decisions. I think I got some extra hairs from my previous mask here. Come on. What is that thing? Okay, still waiting for our special guest. I just don't want to start a whole new topic without seeing our guest show up. So let's see if we can find some short videos to play. Let's see if we can find anything short, because there's a lot of interesting issues, but they're pretty much long issues. Okay, let's see this. 1 second. Okay, no. Okay, check out this video. This is a great one. SaharTV is one of my colleagues on YouTube, and he does a great job. Here he is at the University of Southern California debating woke anti-Israel folks in Charlie Kirk style. Check this out.
Well, they want to.
Have you ever been?
The conversation's over.
Of course it
Free
is.
Palestine.
From Hamas. Thank you so much. And you have a sign saying Free Palestine, right? What do you want to free Palestine from?
Israel.
Occupation, genocide. What's going to happen to the Israelis? In the year 2000, the Israeli government was able to almost completely withdraw.
In Gaza, not in the West Bank.
96% of the land, including Gaza and the West Bank. They even offered to connect the land to one another to make sure that there's room for the Palestinians to cross.
That sounds inaccurate.
You can look it up. Yasser Arafat rejected it, and the Saudi prince, one of the Saudi officials, said, Yasser, you are retarded for refusing this peace deal. They were giving it to you on a platter.
That a lot of Palestinians in the West Bank are harassed and arrested by the IDF.
Because they do what?
Exist.
No, that's not true. If you write right now on your phone, terrorist attacks that came from the West Bank towards Israel, go to 2015, you'll see more than 1,000. 1,000 people crossing the border and stabbing Jews.
Do you think that it's right to
Yes.
arrest
Yes.
a child
Of course.
for throwing a stone?
Should go to juvenile detention. If you come to stab me, you should be arrested. If you try
For
to stab a
throwing
stone,
stone?
stones kill. How many bombs were dropped in Gaza since October 7th?
Hundreds of thousands.
200,000 bombs.
Yeah.
How many civilians died so far?
Like 600,000?
Hamas claimed 67,000.
Yeah.
You said 600,000.
Yeah.
Hamas-
67,000. Okay.
That is way off,
Okay.
right? If it's indiscriminate bombing, why don't we have 20 million people dead in Gaza?
So if there's no genocidal intention, why are all the Israeli politicians on the record going on about Amalek, blah, blah, blah? Anybody who read the Bible knows what the heck that means.
When they talked about the Amaleks, and every pro-Palestinian person likes to bring it up, it's talking about Hamas. It's not talking about Palestinians. It's talking about destroying
Well, that's not
Hamas.
the way the Bible story goes, if you recall.
So wait, so now you care about the Bible? Perfect. So it's a Jewish homeland.
For example, there are Israelis who are protesting the government of Israel
That
and are saying
is a
we want this
democracy.
to
Try to
stop.
see people protesting Hamas in Gaza. I want to see what happens to them. What will happen to them if you protest Hamas?
Right now, there's interfighting going on between groups.
And what's
obviously.
happening to the people protesting Hamas?
They're probably not. Yeah.
They get killed, and it's on camera.
I don't respect you, and I don't respect what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
You're hated
Thank you.
all over the world.
Thank you so much.
The
I
state
feel
of Israel
comfortable in
has to go.
It's going to stay, and we love it.
Amazing. SaharTV, great stuff. Great stuff. Charlie Kirk style, awesome. And I loved that, like, oh, now you care about the Bible. So, you know, the land is definitely, it's definitely a Jewish state. And that guy's like, you're not respected. Well, there's a lot of people that do respect the Jewish people, the Jewish people's return to the land of Israel. That was a great video from SaharTV. So thank you very much. And I also want to say thank you very much to the super chat that just came in. Thank you, Yishai, for making my Sunday chores so much more enjoyable. It is my pleasure to be with you. Question 20662. And thank you very much for supporting our show and being with us from wherever you are. God bless you. And may Hashem send his face to you and your family. And thank you so much for joining us. Okay, without further ado, I told you that we have a very special guest now. And he has finally arrived. Yaakov Katz is an Israeli-American author and journalist, senior fellow at the Jewish People's Policy Institute in Jerusalem. He has served as editor-in-chief of the Jerusalem Post and worked for 2 years as senior policy advisor to Naftali Bennett during his tenure as Israel's Minister of Economy and Minister of Diaspora Affairs. He's the author now of 3 books. Young man, 3 books already. Shadow Strike, Inside Israel's Secret Mission to Eliminate Syrian Nuclear Power. Weapons Wizards, How Israel Became a High-Tech Military Superpower, and Israel versus Iran, The Shadow War. And now his 4th book is While Israel Slept, which is all about October 7th. Yaakov Katz, thank you so much for joining us. Shalom. How are you?
Hey, Yishai, great to be with you, my friend.
Sir, you've probably been very busy. You know, you just put out this book about October 7th, and yet it's like, I wanted to ask you, like, do you have to keep on writing postscript after postscript? Do you have to keep on, like, updating it? Because it's still happening, isn't it? It's still happening. Like, let me say it to you this way. Is the war over? Are we done with this war, or does it keep going?
I think the war is not over. I think the war has changed in its level of intensification. So we went from a high level of intensity now to a lower level of intensity. But to your question about the book, I mean, for that reason, for example, the book mostly focuses on the events prior to October 7th, right? So we did not really get much into what happened with the ground offensive. We touched upon it a bit to talk about what it was like for the IDF troops on the ground, what they encountered to try to, I would say, push back against the claims of genocide and disproportionate force that we found to be just completely fabricated and made up, as you know, and of course to talk about the tunnel systems. But besides for that, everything else is what happened in the run-up to. So we looked at the 36 hours between October 6th and October 7th. What happened? How did we get to this point that we had so much information, so much intelligence, but we didn't understand what Hamas was doing? And then we looked back in time and asked a very simple question. How did Israel, a country that is so vigilant when it comes to national security, a country that cannot be ever accused of not recognizing or being aware of military threats, not only allowed, but paid off a terrorist, genocidal, jihadist terrorist organization? How did we, the people of Israel, who know terrorism, who know enemies, how did we think that this could actually work? And that is a much deeper, a much bigger question that touches upon, I think at least, the real challenge that we face as the Israeli people when we think about how do we prevent this from happening again.
Okay, so can we delve into some of those details? Give us a little bit of a sense. Give me a little bit of a sense about how Israel, missed this thing. How did it miss it? Was it hubris? there was that about a month and a half before, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on anything. There was the one of the Army intelligence officials, I think the head of Army intelligence, stated that Hamas is deterred, and they want to focus on economics, and that was
the prevailing assessment. Hamas does not want war. Yahya Sinwar wants money. He wants the Qatari cash to keep flowing. Remember, they were getting about $30 million a month that was meant to go to poor Palestinians. He wanted the workers to continue to be allowed into Israel. Let's remind our viewers and listeners that Israel was allowing in almost 20,000 Palestinians from Gaza to work inside Israel, in the kibbutzim, in the factories. And that amount of money, so think, for 20,000 people, they're getting Israeli wages for a place, a territory like Gaza, where you have over 50% unemployment. When you have somebody who works in Israel, comes back with the money that an Israeli makes, essentially those 20,000 were actually providing for hundreds of thousands of people inside Gaza. So that was extremely significant. And the assessment was that Sinwar doesn't want war. He wants quiet. He wants the money to keep flowing. At the same time, though, above ground, we're seeing from the Tatzpitaniot, the female observer soldiers along the border, are seeing more activity close along the border. They're seeing more training. We're identifying and detecting Hamas drilling and testing out new rocket systems. We know that they're continuing to smuggle in weapons and continuing to develop newer and more sophisticated capabilities. But we say to ourselves, it's not for war. This is all meant to, flex a muscle, to pretend that they're capable and they're strong, but they really understand
saber rattling.
Exactly. It's not something that's at all in their interest. And I think that really, when you look at the situation, it's almost a case to I would say, as a metaphor to what happened in Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor was a classic case of where America knew that there was a war raging, and of course in Europe and also in the Pacific, but it thought it was immune to it. It thought it would never reach its shores until it exploded in 1941 on the shores of the United States. Israel, of course, knew about Hamas. We had fought a war with them almost on an average of every 2 years, ever since the disengagement, the unilateral withdrawal in 2005. But we thought that that's what it was. It was these cycles. They hit us on the head. We hit them on the head. They want money. They don't really want war. And therefore, none of this could happen. So if you look at it, really, Yishai, we had the information. What we lacked was something very basic. It's called imagination. It's understanding what they could potentially do with all of this. And really what has me concerned is that I love my country, as I know you do, right? We love Israel. We want Israel to flourish. We want Israel to be safe and secure. But we have a weakness and a strength at the same time. This weakness and strength is that we view ourselves, we view our country as a Western country. Our trade, our cultural ties, all with the West, with Europe, with the United States. We want to be like America. We want to be like a country in Europe. We thought we're Luxembourg, but we forgot that our neighbors aren't Belgium and France. It's Hamas in Gaza, Hezbollah in Lebanon, Iran off on the horizon, until recently Assad regime in Syria, and now an Al-Qaeda regime in Syria. We don't have that luxury. So while pretending to be a Western country allows us to flourish, to grow, to create the startup nation, amazing technology, etc., the problem is that we kick the can down the road. The problem is that we contain threats when we should have dealt with them much earlier. And part of also what we do in the book then is go back to the founding of Hamas and look at what signs were there along the way when this terrorist entity first got off the ground in the 1980s in Gaza. So I went and met with the commanders who were then stationed in Gaza, who knew Ismail Haniyeh, who knew Sheikh Ahmed Yassin, who knew Muhammad Def, and all these guys, because they were young students in the Islamic University of Gaza, right? How did this happen that we saw these things happening, but we felt that we had a better way to deal with it?
Did you see the reports that came out, I think today, that Hamas had been gathering tons of intel and using it very adroitly to put it together, and that they had over 3,000 intelligence officers working to piece stuff together, especially from Israeli social media, just like regular chats and social media. And they figured out that the Mark IV Merkava had a certain secret hidden button that they knew how to now press. et cetera, et cetera. And they were trailing over 100,000 soldiers to get intel on them. They took it very seriously. They took the attack on Israel quite seriously and really had a big plan. And according to people like Yair Ansbacher, they really had a big plan. I'm sure you talk about that as well, which is they had a big plan to destroy Israel. October 7th was not supposed to be, they may have jumped the gun, and you could comment on this, but it really wasn't just a attack and to get global sympathy, of which they did manage to do, but rather it was meant to be something much bigger. I'm just trying to get a sense of the bigness of the attack.
Well, I mean, I did see those reports saying they just came out, so that was new to me as well. But we know, and it's not a surprise, Hamas really had its pulse on the Israeli people, on the army. It was gathering intelligence. First of all, those workers that were coming into Israel were coming back with information, whether willingly or non-willingly. They were being pulled aside when going back into Gaza and interrogated and given, assignments, go collect intelligence on this. And we saw this in the kibbutzim. There were the maps that they were carrying. They knew who lived where, who had a pet, who had a dog, who had a golf cart, things like that. So we know that they had really granular intelligence on their targets. We know that the bases they were going for were not random. They knew where the communication systems were. They knew where the surveillance cameras were. They knew how to deactivate them and disable them very smartly. It was a very low-tech attack, but it was extremely, extremely sophisticated.
And I understand that the majority of the rockets, about 6,000, fell on or around Air Force bases. They wanted to neutralize the Air Force.
Right. They wanted to ground the Air Force and to bog it down. They didn't want to see an Air Force response. They also wanted to get to Air Force bases. They came with equipment and with supplies for a long stay inside Israel. They came even with, this blew my mind when I saw this. They came with amputation equipment, not to amputate Israeli who were injured, for themselves. In other words, they wanted to treat their people in the field so they could keep going.
Wow.
This was extremely thought through. They were prepared with lots of supplies and lots of equipment, and they were ready for the long haul. To your other part of the question, though, they had coordinated this with Iran and with Hezbollah. They jumped the gun. This is true. Sinwar got a bit ahead of himself and wanted the glory.
Why did he do that? In order to be like, I'm the man, look at me, I'm charging ahead, I'm yelling charge. Is that it?
Look, that's definitely what it seems like. And I think that from what I've heard from the Israelis, again, take everything with a grain of salt. We now know, don't trust everything the intelligence officers and officials tell you in Israel. But they seem to come to the conclusion that what he thought is that if he starts, he is the greater fighter, the one who initiated the attack, and everyone else follows his suit. Look, it puts him at a different level. I'm higher than Nasrallah. I'm higher than the Iranians. And he thought that attack would lead everybody else to rain down their missiles on Israel. Well, we know that Hezbollah started attacking on October 8th, but they never attacked in the center of Israel, right? They kept their attacks isolated to the north. They did not expand their war against Israel to the extent that he wanted them to. And I think that came as a disappointment to Sinwar. The Iranians did not immediately get involved. That only came months later. In April was the first barrage of missiles that Iran launched at Israel, and that was in retaliation to when Israel took out Hania in Iran. But in general, there was an effort and a desire to launch a coordinated attack. And I think we have to say, really here, Baruch Hashem, right? Thank God. Because we both know that had Hezbollah been the one to attack Israel on that morning of October 7th, things would be much different, right? As bad as the situation in the south was, and it was terrible. 1,200 people killed, 251 people taken hostage, so many more wounded. Hezbollah is of a different scale. And, you saw the small number of troops that we had along the border in the south. The situation wasn't that better in the north, right? And they would have been across that border. I've heard this from not one senior officer in the IDF. They would have made it to the Kiryat in Tel Aviv, to the military headquarters in downtown Tel Aviv, if they had come across from the north. They would have been able to just drive into the heart of Tel Aviv. And we can only imagine what that would have been. So this was obviously something of a greater scale of what they wanted. Obviously, and you hinted just to this, Yishai, and I think this is the most important thing that people forget about this war. because people are always wondering, what did Sinwar want? They always talk about he wanted to torpedo the Saudi normalization. That's true. He wanted to bring the Palestinian issue back to the forefront of the world's agenda. Well, I mean, that he's been the most successful of. I mean, this is the rallying cry of every young person around the world, no matter where you go.
And I want to save that issue of the global response for later. But go ahead. I just mean to say I want to get back to. I want you to.
But I'm saying you've hit the nail on the head, because, and people need to understand this around the world, because by supporting Hamas, by rallying for Hamas, what they have done is they handed them the victory, and this is what they wanted. Right? If you're Sinwar and you come back, God forbid, he should rot in hell for eternity, but he comes back to life today and he looks out at the world. He says, 1 second, I, Hamas, am still in charge of 47% of Gaza. It's about 50% of Gaza. I'm back on the streets. I'm back in charge. No one is able to disarm me. I got the French, the British, the Australians, the Canadians, the Spanish, the Belgians. They all recognize the Palestinian state.
And they're all ripping on Israel left and
they're all
right.
ripping on Israel's isolated. Right. Saudi normalization didn't happen. Not only did it not happen, the Saudis are now getting F-35s in the civilian nuclear program, and they're still not normalizing ties with Israel. Did I lose the war? I mean, no, I don't think he lost the war. But people say to me, but what do you mean? 60,000 people have been killed. And this is what they don't understand. Those people, he wants them to be killed. Right. Because that serves his interest, right? That's the job of the Palestinian people in Gaza from Sinwar's perspective.
So let me ask you a tough question. Do you think that Netanyahu is doing a disservice to us by selling to us this total Israeli victory? It's like we bopped them on the head here, we bopped them here, we bopped them here, we bopped them all around. And yet really there's this other perspective, which is like, no, you just mowed the lawn, but okay, but they're back. They're still in control of parts of Gaza. You did not get rid of Hamas. After 2 years of war, you did not get rid of him. And also, and here's something nobody likes to say, and when I say it, I get in trouble a little bit, but I'm going to say it honestly, which is like the hostages issue. At the end, it was their script. It was the bad guys' script. You've been playing that script the whole time. Like the whole, remember that there was this, they caught some Iranian folks that were working for Iran. What's it called? People who are, what's the word I'm looking for when you...
Spies?
They were spies, but they were like, yeah, but they were not just spying. They were actually just working for the enemy. I lost the word. But in any case, you know what was, do you remember that this was reported that they found their work notebooks, what they had to do for Iran? And one of those things was put up yellow flags everywhere. Mm-hmm. Meaning to say, like, the hostage thing and the hostage pressure, that was partially, not partially, that was in large part the script of the bad guys. And so we got our hostages back, but at the cost of what? At the cost of the bad guys still being there. And we've returned all these murderers and terrorists back into circulation in Judea and Samaria and in Gaza. So what's the truth? What's the count? Is that like, we like, if this was a boxing match, what's the count here? It's close, right? It's a close count.
It's not, there's no knockout, that's for sure. I think that the disservice definitely was there, because when you sell to a people something...
And I asked you specifically about Netanyahu, right?
Netanyahu tried to sell the Israeli people this slogan called total victory. In Hebrew, Nitzachon Muchlat. And when I was hearing this, I was saying, look, there is no total victory here. It's just, unless you're willing to go the length of where it was obvious he was never going to go that far. And therefore, why were we selling this dream of something that is not going to happen? And then it creates an expectation that can only lead to disappointment, number one. Number two is, why not be realistic and tell the people what's really possible? What's possible here is we're going to degrade Hamas. We're going to weaken Hamas. We're going to take away their capabilities. But what we have to do is what, Clausewitz spoke about hundreds of years ago, is that military is politics by other means. In other words, you will need to have some sort of political resolution. Now, what we see in the Trump plan, Yishai, is the beginning, the contours of something of a political resolution. We might not like it. Some might like it more. It doesn't make a difference. There is a political process that is coming here. I think we could have done more earlier on to formulate what that political process was or was going to be. And I fear that we might have missed out on that opportunity. Instead, the situation right now is we're being dictated what that political process needs to look like and who is going to rule Gaza, who's going to be there. It's kind of out of our hands when we should have been the ones who were directing what direction this was going to go.
The last week and a half, we've seen President Trump meet with Jolani, what you call the Al-Qaeda leader of Syria. We've seen him with MBS, with even a strange remark of, I don't know where that hand's been, but that's what he said to MBS, which was bewildering and rude and kind of gross and whatever. But you saw him there, and then you saw another great Muslim leader, and that's Mamdani of New York. So you saw this, and in all three cases, Trump seemed to be placating them. He certainly did not give them the what's his name from Ukraine? What's that? Zelensky, the Zelensky treatment. He didn't give him the Zelensky treatment, right? Remember the Zelensky treatment when Vance when Vance was like a angry dog barking at Zelensky in front of the cameras at the White House. Like, he not even close. They're playing basketball with Jolani. They're making locker room jokes with MBS, and there's color guard on horses. And with Mamdani's standing over Trump, and Trump is like, yeah, you know what I mean? This guy's way, more pragmatic than I thought, and it's going to be fine. I just want to make in parentheses that one could argue that the Mamdani meeting is only fair. It's only democracy. People elected him, and now Trump wants to work with him. He's a New Yorker. One could argue that. I could argue that, and at law school that would make sense. But on the other hand, we also understand that there is some serious jihad here, and that they are these strong leaders that want land, that want control, and Trump respects these kind of strong leaders. And Netanyahu in Israel, you don't get that feeling. Trump did come here. He did make beautiful speeches. He did call him a great wartime prime minister, wartime leader. But then J.D. Vance came and he was ripping us on that tarmac. I'll never forget that. That was so incredibly rude. He was just like mocking our democracy. Bottom line is, this is my point. There's some strong jihadi players. They're being respected. There's Israel with its kind of not as assertive kind of voice, and it's being mocked. Am I exaggerating?
I'll tell you something, and I've been spending a lot of time in the U.S. now, definitely around the book, meeting with a lot of different people, also in Washington and elsewhere in the media, and just leaders in society. I am concerned that the perception of Israel today is that we have moved from being viewed as an asset, as a strategic asset and a strategic partner, to being something more of a liability. And I think that Donald Trump's immediate instinct and inclination is to be supportive and to stand with us, because he can clearly see the difference between good and evil, and he knows what side we're on and what side the others are on. Right. But when it comes to that, we are needy. We're constantly in need of help. We're constantly in need of support. We're taking wars that he thought he finished, and they keep going, and we're seen as an obstacle in some cases. That's what you saw with J.D. Vance. I mean, it was very upsetting to see what happened when J.D. Vance came here. First visit of him as a vice president. He's likely to be the candidate for president in just 3 years. Good chance that he'll win. And when he leaves Israel, he's slamming us on the tarmac as he's boarding his plane to go back to Washington. I mean, he left with a bad feeling. This is not something that's good for us. And I think that this all comes down to the perception today of Israel in Washington and around the world of we've moved from being the asset or the strategic partner to being more of a liability. And as you know, Yishai, Trump likes to get, not to give.
Right.
And right now we're getting much more than we're giving, at least in the perception of it. I would argue that's not true. But
I want to ask you, and let me sharpen the question then. Let me sharpen the question. First thing that's very interesting and great, on the field analysis. How much of that perception is a created perception by foreign entities like Qatar, which today we learned in the news has put $100 billion with a B dollars into American campuses? So how much of that is perception created by Qatar, by a Tucker, a Candace, a few, anti-Semites that are like feeding off this opportunity of Fuentes, whatever it is. How much of it is actually us being that thing that you're describing, this kind of needy, a little Woody Allen-ish, a little indecisive, a little, not, he says, you're going to open the gates of hell on Gaza, but we're like, no, we just want the hostages. And we're a little whiny, a little, and we're of course very divided, and we have the blue side and the red side. And in America, we have the blue side and the red side. So how much is it our fault? And how much is it like a foreign, media press?
No, I hear the question. I think it's a mix. I mean, look, there is a real deep and amazingly funded campaign against Israel by the Qataris, by the Turks, by Iran. A lot of this is coming out now just today. This is no secret. The Qataris are very, very sophisticated with the way that they deliver and use their funds to be able to manipulate the hearts and minds of people. That is happening. But at the same time, and that's always going to be the case, we have to fight against that, right? We have to try to beat out that narrative. And that's always going to be an uphill battle, just simply because of resources in the numbers game. But we can do more. But I think from the general perception, and this is in the White House. Forget about the Qataris for a moment. This is when Bibi goes to meet with Trump, when he's there with his advisors against, sitting opposite from Trump and his advisors. The feeling is that we're always asking for things. And when you look at the dynamic with the Saudis are coming, and they're saying, and you saw that in that Oval Office meeting. MBS says to Trump, no, it's not $500 billion. I'm going to bring $1 trillion to the U.S. economy. I mean, where I thought it really illustrated itself when Trump goes to Doha, and the Emir of Qatar gives him the 747 Boeing jet as a new Air Force One. And then a few months later, we have the 12-day war with Iran, and Bibi goes to Washington. And what does he bring Donald Trump as a gift? Mezuzah made out of shrapnel from an Iranian missile, shaped like a B-2 bomber. So the Qataris are giving Trump a Boeing 747.
A big one.
And we're bringing him
plane.
an airplane-shaped Mezuzah. And I mean, it's beautiful, and it says a lot about our values. But we're talking about someone who really does view the world in that quid pro quo prism. And I just think we're not there in the same way that they are.
I mean, there's two factors about what we're not there vis-a-vis Trump. You're saying bring him stuff. I get that a lot, but also he likes strong leaders. He likes leaders that are like, big and bold. And my contention, my constant refrain is that one of the illnesses in the Israeli psyche is that Israel doesn't want to be big. It doesn't want to be big. It always wants to be the morally right, little kind of nerdy country that can strike back if you mess with it, but it never wants to be a big ruler, a hegemon, a power. It doesn't want to, it always says the refrain, I don't want to control other people, where everybody around here wants to control other people. We're the only one who don't want to control. And my final proof for that is, when Israeli companies go big, their great achievement is to exit, is to sell out. There's something about Israeli mentality, which is in a small country mentality.
We don't scale. Exactly.
We don't scale. And there's excuses and there's rationales why, but like Jolani wants to scale. Who is he? But he wants to scale. And certainly Erdogan wants to scale. That's a guy that's all about scale.
Yeah.
And he has a big country and he wants it to be even bigger. And Trump is like, I like that. I even caught a glimpse of him liking Mamdani. Sure, he's taking his beloved city, turning it socialist, communist, and jihadist, but at least he's a player. You know what I mean? At least he wants to be big. So I kind of like him, and I feel like we don't do that. Did you feel uncomfortable in America? Like, did you feel like you were representing this, what did you call it? The opposite of asset,
liability.
Liability.
No, I mean, look, it depends who you're talking to. I mean, without a doubt, last week I was actually in the U.S. and I was at the White House and had a couple meetings with some of Trump's team. There's obviously warmth and there's a lot of sympathy, but I just don't feel that it's at the level that it once was. I don't feel that it's at the same place. We're all watching, by the way. This is no secret. We're seeing what's happening in the Conservative Party. We're seeing what's happening on those extremes. Tucker Carlson with the Heritage Foundation. I mean, there's a clash right now between what they call within the MAGA movement, the MIGA movement, the Make Israel or the Make Israel First, the Israel First group. They're against that. So these you'll hear the Steve Bannon types who I just spoke to him last week. Steve Bannon and his crew are going against like the Ted Cruz like people because they're the Israel First group. We're all in favor of Israel, but we just don't want to see Israel put first. We have to keep America first. There's a dynamic that's there, and it's dangerous for the state of Israel. And where this goes, we still don't know. But I think we have to try to change the narrative here. Like, for example, we mentioned the 12-day war. There is a very strong group of people in the U.S., in the Republican Party, who believe that we dragged Donald Trump into the 12-day war with Iran. There was no reason that we needed to attack then in June. Iran was far away from a nuclear weapon. Why did we have to do it then? This was Israel dragging America into a war that it had no business being in. Where are we pushing back on that? How are we pushing back on that?
And the simple answer is what?
Why aren't we, or what is the response to that?
No, the simple answer, like the simple question is like, why did you drag me into this war? Why did you drag America into this war? What's your simple answer?
Oh, well, I when I'm asked that, and I was asked that last week by a couple of people, my answer is very simple. We didn't drag anyone to a war. Iran is a threat just as much as it is to Israel is a threat to the United States. None of us want them to get nuclear weapons. They chant death to America, just like they chant death to Israel. Their ballistic missiles and their proxies and their nuclear program are just as much a threat to the United States and to the stability of this region.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant. It's a simple answer.
Yeah, I know, but for some reason, we're not getting to these people right now, and we're not making these arguments in the right places. And I just fear that we're starting to see a shift. And Yishai, one of the issues that's coming up right now, and this is a big one, is what's going to be with military aid to Israel in the next decade. Because the current agreement of a 10-year, $3.8 billion a year is coming to an end in 2028. You need to negotiate a new agreement if there's going to be one now. Now, again, we're going back to what we spoke about before. For us to go to Donald Trump and to ask for money, to fall back into the same place that we know he doesn't like us to be. He doesn't want us to be asking for things. So can we come up with a different system that can say, no, it's not about giving us money. We're not coming as a schnorrer, as a beggar. What we're coming at is a partner. Let's do stuff together. Don't just throw money at us. Let's develop. Let's create together. We have to.
One of the easiest ways to get out of that. One of the easiest ways to get out of that is just to change the name of this. If American money still wants to flow into Israel, just change the name of it. It's not foreign aid. It's Joint Defense Development Funding. Okay, we have a joint defense development, but maybe it's not such a good idea. Maybe in this type of time where we're being accused of this kind of sucking out of money out of America, and Israel's a $500 billion economy, why don't we just have a straight, business relationship? Why do we have to have that? Maybe we also need to loosen the bonds so that we could buy stuff from other places as well. Maybe we don't want to say to America, oh, we don't want you to sell the Saudis arms. You know what? Sell to whoever you want. We have a relationship, and you could sell to whoever you want. We could buy from whoever we want, or sell to anybody that we want. Let's loosen those very paternalistic bonds and kind of just open it up. Like, is that not a reasonable thing?
I mean, look, it's a conversation that we need to have, and I know that it's being had, and it's an important conversation and discussion because the world is changing, and I think people, and definitely Netanyahu knows this, and his team knows that to go to the United States and just expect another handout over 10 years is not where this is going. We have to change the whole paradigm. Your point of maybe we need to just say thank you, but no thank you. We'll be a customer just like everyone else is a customer. It's a valid argument. I would say there's the counter argument to that is
I want to hear
when we continue to get aid from the U.S. as the system is right now, it connects us in a very intimate and direct way with the United States because we have to use this money in America, right? So when they give us the money, it has to be spent in America, which means pretty much you're going to get approval to buy what you want to buy in America. When you don't have that relationship and you don't have that money that has to be spent in the United States, and you're coming and asking, I want to buy now, not F-35s, I want to buy the F-47, that new fighter jet that's now just under development. It'll take years till it rolls out. You'll be coming at that like any other country that's coming to ask to buy something. It just changes the dynamic. I think there might be a middle ground. I think there's a way, for example, the F-47, I would love to see Israel involved in the development of that fighter jet. We have amazing technological capabilities. I would love to see Israel engaged, working together with the Americans on quantum computing, working with America on AI, working with America on the future of missile defense. Our laser system, Iron Beam, which is going operational, can only shoot down now short-range rockets and some slow-flying drones and mortar shells. We're going to be the first to roll out an operational laser, solid-based laser defense system. Americans don't yet have it. Why aren't we working closer with the Americans saying, listen, let's do this together. Let's create that. What did Trump call it? The iron shield or whatever, the space system he wants to create. Let's do that together with you guys. I mean, we have what to bring to the table. That changes the whole model of this relationship. And I think it brings us back to what we were, or I think we still are, is a strategic partner that you want to be with us. You want to support Israel, because when you support Israel, it helps you. And that's what we got to make sure is clear to everyone in the U.S. today.
Yeah, like you would have thought that after 2 years, we would have been seen as one of the only fighting allies out there, one of the only allies that's willing to pull the trigger, that knows how to push back on jihadism. But it looks like they made like an end run around us. It's like we did not finish the job here, and they're over there on campuses and in the media selling both that jihadism is kind of cool and that Israel is not. So we're like, it's
scary. It's sad and scary. Yeah.
It's really out there. And you're like, and on social media, you put out, you just, you like, if I put out a strong nationalist pro-Israel tweet or X, whatever, there's a ton of anti-Semitism that's popping out there. It's an intense business to be a Jew these days. And you don't know if you want to fly anywhere anymore. I'm supposed to fly to America also, but I'm just like, I don't know. You know what I mean? There's some discomfort about the world right now. And the state of Israel has turned into a Noah's Ark, where it's like, there's a storm out there and you just want to kind of stay inside.
And you know what? I'll tell you something else that I definitely saw really up close and felt, because I was there for a while, just on book tour, is the American Jewish community. I think it's true for all Jews around the world. They are at war too. Now, some recognize it, some don't. Some just don't want people to hate them. They refuse to recognize that. What are you going to do? You're Jewish, they hate you. That's going to be part of the nature. There's like the laws of nature. That's one of them. But that war against them, it's more metaphysical than physical. Here we're under physical assault, right? There it's a metaphysical attack. They want to strip Jews of their Jewish identity. They don't want them to be proud Jews. They don't want them to stand with Israel. Mamdani's anti-Zionism is morphing into, it is a form of anti-Semitism and will morph even to more anti-Semitism. So you might say, what do you mean I'm not anti-Semite? I'm just against Zionism, right? Bullshit. That is anti-Semitism, and it's going to bring more anti-Semitism. But it's about killing the Jewish identity. Here they want to kill us physically. Here they want to kill the Jewish identity. But it's one war and the same. And the sooner we recognize this, when we start to recognize that we're all fighting together, is the sooner we have a chance to actually defeat and win. And I think this is something that we also need to change that conversation. I don't think the Jews of America understand that they're in the same battle that we're in. I don't think that the people here in Israel fully understand that, yes, we're on the front line. We're sending our kids into Gaza. We're going into Gaza, into places. We're putting our lives on the line. Yes, it's a big sacrifice. And it's not what they have in New York, where, okay, not the same level of threat, but it's a similar war. And we have to find a way to do this together, because that's how we win.
One difference, though, between American Jewry and Israeli Jewry is that the pulsating life energy that's happening in Israel is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the greatest dissonances in this world is between the outside perception of what Israel is and the reality of Israel inside. There's such it's like when you see a fruit on a tree, when you see like a beautiful flower, it's like there's such a pulsating life force around here. The cafes are full, women are pregnant, cranes are everywhere. You just see this kind of like energy, this life energy, and it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's kind of like it's oozing out, I don't think that American Jewry is in that same atmosphere.
No, you're right. They're not, and that's the beauty of this country. And It's remarkable what we have here. It really is, the resilience and the vibrancy. And you know what I tell people all the time? And you know, you just spoke about people, women being pregnant, people having kids. You look at the birth rate, right? Fertility rate in Israel, as we know, one of, if not the highest in the Western world, right? One of the highest, 2.9 something per Jewish woman in this country. If you weren't optimistic about life, if you didn't believe in the future, you wouldn't have kids, right? I mean, having kids is the best expression of optimism that life will be good, and you want to bring a child into this world to share that future with them and to give them that future. Israelis are an optimistic people, despite everything.
And this is an optimistic time.
It's an amazing time. It's an opportunity seizing time, what we have, because we have changed reality here. Now we have to capitalize on this change. We have to leverage the change in Gaza, the change in Lebanon, the change in Syria, the change now in Iran. There's a lot of change. Not every answer is going to be another missile. Not every answer is going to be another tank. We have to do something else. I mean, you know, you might have different ideas than I. I'm sure you would say, for example, now's the time for the application of Israeli law in Judea and Samaria. I mean, you know, could be that that's also the moment now in time. Maybe. But I think this is where you need grand vision. This is where you need leadership that can look at everything that's happening and say, what are we going to do now that's really going to change the trajectory of our country? Because what we've gone through over the last 2 years, it can't just be another, you know, bump along the way. This is a big moment. And
but you're saying such important things. So therefore, I want to just sharpen the question and soon let you go. I've had you on for a long time. Thank you so much for being with us, Yaakov Katz. Fabulous to have you on. I agree with everything you're saying. And yet in reality, I find that the thing that stymies that creative burst that you're talking about is actually our uber bureaucratic socialistic system where the government is slow, slothful, and it's filled with a kind of like bureaucracy. Getting something done is just very, very molasses like. And yes, people are having that aha moment. Young people are having the aha moment, but it seems like the upper echelon of the army is kind of like, you know, still holding against it, and the old guard still kind of pushes back against it. And that's the frustration, isn't it? That's the frustration that like you wanna have this big aha moment called October 7th and the opportunity that it brought with it. But can we burst out of some of these very limiting factors? Also, Jewish organizations, look at all these Jewish organizations. They're bloated, I dare say corrupt. And you're just like, oh, come on. Like, we need to break out. We need to be youthful. I don't mean just necessarily young, but youthful in spirit. How do we break out of some of these things that have held us back, that have brought us to this moment of crisis, but also have this opportunity? How do we break out?
I wish I had the answer. I wish there was a magic wand.
Do you agree with me that that's a problem? Do you see that as well?
No, I totally agree with you. Look, I think one of the problems is we were, even after October 7th, which in my view, and I wrote a whole book about it, was really, I think everyone understands, was the greatest disaster for the state of Israel since inception, the day that most Jews were murdered since the Holocaust. And by the way, on a single day, and by the way, that itself is enough of a reason for us to really have to think deep what happened here, because Israel as a state, its whole raison d'etre was that days like that would never happen. And it happened. And the question is, okay, so how are we going to change? And yeah, they've gotten rid of some officers in the IDF, and we've changed some people. And even today, the chief of staff has said to some of these officers, you can't even serve in the reserves anymore. Who cares, right? There's a much deeper change that needs to happen inside Israel. We have to change the whole way we approach everything. We're still fighting about the stupid issues. I mean, I got to tell you, and you and I might not even agree on this, but I think we'll agree on the substance. There was a week ago, 2 weeks ago, all day, everyone in the media, all the newspapers are talking about who's going to investigate the military advocate general, the Patsari, right? Is it going to be the attorney general? Is it going to be the state prosecutor? Is it going to be a specially appointed judge? Is it going to be this person? And I'm looking at this, I'm like, who cares? Like, I mean, we're fighting about Narishkeit. We have such big issues to deal with. And this is what everybody is focused on. I mean, like, I'm getting phone calls from people. Who do you think is going to get the job to investigate? I'm like, Do you really think that's important? I mean, yeah, it's important, but is it the biggest issue? No. And we're stuck. This is where we need vision. We need a breakout. We need change. We need change in leadership. We need change in government. We need change across the board for people to come and really take us to a new moment. And I think, by the way, Trump said to Bibi, "You've been a great wartime prime minister." I think he has, by the way. But you sometimes need a change after for that rebuilding that needs to come, for that next step that we need to go to. I mean, obviously, the Israeli people will go to an election and they will make the decision for themselves. But there is something deeper here that needs to undergo a reform and a change that we're just not there yet.
B'ezrat Hashem, there is optimism, but there's also needs something. There needs to we have to use the momentum of October 7th to make that creative change, like you were discussing. Yaakov Katz, your latest book is called "While Israel Slept." It's there behind your left shoulder, or your right shoulder, I guess, and it's already out. Is that right? People can find it on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
While Israel Slept. That's how they find it.
That's how they find it. Exactly.
Okay, go ahead.
While Israel Slept, you can find it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, anywhere that you find books. Your local bookstore.
You are an author, a journalist, senior fellow at the Jewish People Policy Institute in Jerusalem, which is a mouthful. You've served as the editor-in-chief of J-Post, and you also were a senior policy advisor to Minister Bennett at the time when he was Minister of both Economy and Diaspora Affairs. You have other books on Iran, on Syria, on our superpower military prowess, and now on October 7th. Yaakov Katz, thank you very much for this excellent conversation.
Thank you, Yishai. Great to be with you.
All right, folks. Amazing conversation. Really a lot to think about. Yaakov Katz. What do you think, yo? Did you think that was a good interview? I thought it was very interesting. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. And he has a slightly different point of view than you do. And I think it's great to get that insight. And he's
Absolutely.
clearly going to the States and gathering information and bringing it back to us. I think it's a little bit too much focus on the negativity towards the Jews. And I like your perspective the best.
I appreciate that. But on the other hand, I like to get a little bit of negativity in because if we don't, it's not an issue of negativity. It's an issue of that we need to fix some stuff. And I like that. I think that, and I think when 2,000 people die, you should do a moment of introspection. I think that introspection is good, and at the same time, I agree with you that Israel is great. Israel's amazing. Israel's energetic. Israel's alive, and a lot of amazing things are happening. Okay, friends, we've been together now for an hour and 52 minutes. Last week was such a crazy busy week for me. It was insane. It was just an insane week. And then we had Chai Sarah. Have we even spoken since Chai Sarah? I think we spoke since Chai Sarah, but we had this massive Shabbat in Hebron. And says Ariel, he says, very insightful, brutally candid, but sobering. I like that. I like that. I think that's good. I think that's really good. And this week, just lots of, you know what? I'll tell you that I guess one of the differences between myself and many other people is that when I talk a little bit of negativity about Israel, I go to my bed, I think about it, but the rest of my day, the next day, is filled with positive action. Like my whole life is, and it's not the media side, it's the building side and the Hebron side and the touring side and connecting people and teaching Torah. So like the rest of the day is going to be filled with action. That's all positive action and building. So my life is like, I don't get stuck in the negativity because I'm just, that's like a moment of consideration. I'm like, okay. And then I'm like pushing forward on something else. Like right now, one of my dreams, what is this little hair that keeps blonde thing from the wig? Oh, got it. I got you this time. There it is. I defeated you. One of the things that I'm working on right now is the Biblical Highway, which is the renaming of Route 60, which is a road in Israel, like Route 66, which goes through historic places, and it goes through Beersheba, Hebron, Bethlehem, Beit Lechem, Jerusalem, Yerushalayim, Beit El, Bethel, Shiloh, Shechem, Shechem, or Nablus, and then the Jezreel Valley, one road that goes on all these holy places. I've been pushing for years to actually make that into an Israeli law that recognizes the biblical highway, and it's like about to happen. You're going to see it in the news soon, Bli Ayin Hara, with the help of God, Bezrat Hashem. And I'm just like, it's really happening. I hired a lobbyist and we've been working hard. This is going to be basically like my second law that I wrote and is now going to pass in the state of Israel. That's like crazy exciting. And that's like my life. My life is filled with like positivity. So I think that the difference is that when I talk negativity on this show, then people are like, "Oy, Gewalt, oy, oy, oy." Where's that hat? Where's that hat? Hold on. Where's the hat? There's the hat. Hold on 1 second. Oy, Gewalt. Yishai, you can't talk so much negativity. You got to talk positivity. You got to give people brin and fire. You got to give them light and love and excitement. You can't be talking negativity. You got to talk excitement and God. Got to be pro-God, pro-Israel, pro-Jewish, pro-Bible, pro-good things, pro-mitzvahs, Torah and mitzvahs. You got to talk positivity. Yishai, you're all about light. You got to be light to people. You can't be a downer. Yeah, what are you? What are you, a downer? You're not a downer. You're an upper. You're an upper. You gotta be like the kosher heroin for people. You gotta bring them up. You know what I'm talking about or not? So, I understand that that like my job is to be positive, but at the same time, like because my life is positive, then I could go into moments of negativity and I think about stuff, and then I would together with you, of course, my beloved friends. Hold on, we need a different hat. Got to move the keep up a little bit. Come on, Yishai. You got to give people strength. That's the only thing that's out there. People need God-loving strength. And you know what? We need your strength. We need your support and your help. I want you to go to buymeacoffee.com/Yishai. Hold on. Where is that? It's a banner. Where is that? Where is that? I see it. I see it. buymeacoffee.com/Yishai. You love Yishai. You love Torah of the land of Israel. You got to go to buymeacoffee.com. You got to support that Yishai, because that Yishai is trying to channel positivity and goodness and light into this world. We got to be part of it. Am I right? Got to be partnered up. And if you don't want to go there because you don't like coffee, then check out fightforisrael.org. .org. G is for God. Okay, and ORG is for organization. Fight for Israel. You got to fight. You got to fight for Israel and make it strong and big and beautiful like Texas. Got to be big, bold, beautiful, and badass. Those are 3 B's followed by 1 A. It spells ba. Okay, big, bold, beautiful, and badass. That is good stuff. You can join that movement at fightforisrael.org. We're working to make that website look a little bit more normal. What is that 1980s garbage out there? We're working on it. We're going to make it better with the help of Yo and all the other people. And don't forget to go to Yishai Fleisher TV. And you got to like, subscribe, comment, become a member for God's sakes, have some fellowship, learn to love, and you could check out some of the swag and the swagger. That's right. We got swag and swagger that we're offering at Yishai Fleisher TV. You know what I'm talking about? Okay. Now, before we go, let's just watch. Should we watch one more video or what? Should we watch one more video? I think we should. I can't see a dang thing with these glasses. Hold on. Not that one. Not that one. Oh, should we watch this? Watch this. Here's Mehdi Hassan. Mehdi Hassan. What is he? The Muslim Messiah, the Mehdi Hassan and Ilan Pappe. 2 guys who just don't like the Jewish people. Let's watch them together, shall we?
Said Ilan that we're living through the last phase of Zionism, comparing it to other ideologies that grew more and more ruthless just before they died out. What makes you think?
Last phase of Zionism before the third temple, you mean? That's what you're talking about. What are you joking me? Last phase of Zionism, just in gathering right now. The in gathering is happening. The Jewish state's being built. What are you talking about, Mehdi?
that this is the end of an entire ideological movement more than a century old.
Blah, blah, blah. The end of the Jewish people's return to Israel. What are you, stupid? For God's sake.
What is the telltale sign in your view?
There are several indications, but probably the most important one is if people agree with me that the kind of Israel we have today, we never had before. I call it in the book, The State of Judea. I think it's a
State of Judea. I heard of that. What do you mean never had it before? That was the Maccabees. Remember the Maccabees? We're just back. That's what you don't understand, Pappe. You don't understand that, Pappe. We're back to let you know we can really shake them down. We're back. We're the Maccabees. What state of Judea? I don't want a state of Judea. I want a sissy state. I want a wimpy state. Wimpy, wimpy, wimpy. Oh, come on already. We're big and we're bold. We're beautiful. We're badass and we're back. That's right. You know what? Big, bold, beautiful, badass, and we're back. How about that? 5 Bs. 5 Bs. We be good and you don't get it.
It's a worse version of the state of Israel. Far more fanatic, far more messianic, far more theocratic.
Does anybody look fanatic or messianic to you here? For God's sakes, Pappe.
Far more racist. If this is the kind of Israel,
racist? We just hate jihad and haters. We love people. Give me any folk. I love folk. Good folk, loving folk, Arab folk, Christian folk, Bible folk, Northern folk, Ashkenazi, Sephardi, Haredi. What are you talking about? I love people. I love all kinds of people. I love my Finnish visitors, German visitors, people who listen to Yishai Fleisher shows. Good. They're all good. I love people. We ain't no racists. We just hate bad guys.
It needs international immunity. And I do believe, I have to believe, that the world is not always going to support, especially a state that has this trajectory of becoming even more extreme, even more messianic. So that's the main.
What is extreme about having a strong Jewish state? What is messianic? What is these terms? As though these are like bad terms. You mean like a strong Jewish state? That's something that bothers you? Like what's your what are these terms? That we push back on the jihad that attacked us on October 7th? Like what is this business messianic? You mean that we believe that we are being ingathered by God? I mean, but that's a fact. That's just a fact. Like what's so unattractive about that? Sounds kind of cool. Being ingathered by God. That sounds kind of cool. Like, what is this stuff? You're just throwing out these words. And later on in this interview, he's going to admit that nobody thinks like him anymore.
The main point is that you have here a certain reality that I think most people don't want yet to admit, to accept.
So let me be devil's advocate here and push back a bit. I, like you, have been stunned, positively stunned, at the way in which Israel has been isolated, found itself isolated in the world. You had Western governments condemning its behavior, not the US, but other Western governments, Canada, Britain, France, calling for a Palestinian state. You've seen more and more talk of sanctions, of arms controls, even here in the United States, amongst former pro-Israeli politicians on the Democratic Party side. Obviously, you've seen South Africa lead the Global South. You've seen the ICC put out arrest warrants for the Prime Minister of Israel. So
get to it, Mehdi Hassan. What's your point?
All big things. On the other hand, as we get further and further away, as time goes by, and now with this ceasefire, which we'll talk about in a moment, there seems to be a readjustment back to the status quo. You've got now, for example, they were going to have a vote on whether to kick Israel out of international football. That's been postponed. There was going to be a decision about whether Israel should be part of the Eurovision Song Contest. They're now basically, it's almost, you've seen this before. As time goes by, everyone just goes back to normal. So
you know why, Mehdi? You know what you don't understand? Israel's just not going anywhere. And people get it. People understand that, like, all right, let's hate on the Jews. But the Jews have survived all of our hate for 3,500 years. And so what's going to change? Like, what are we going to achieve with hating Israel? We could all go against Israel. What are we going to get? Are we going to get rid of Israel? Clearly not. It's just not going to work. God almighty, if like 6 Arab armies attacked Israel in 48 in a 6-day war. If the Nazis, who are a lot smarter than most of the bad guys today, tried to wipe out the Jews, and instead the Jews like built Jerusalem, like some people are like, you know what? If you can't beat him, join him. And you know what? God is good. And if he wants the Jewish people to come back home, I want to be part of that. So like, why don't you? Of course, people are coming back to Israel because Israel's here to stay. It's a fact. And even if you don't like it, you have to accept it. It just is. And the power of Israel is that it's a survivor. No matter what, it's a survivor. And so, yeah, of course, the world is coming back. Says Yo, she says, I was in Hebron. There were people from all over the world, Africa, Brazil, Spain, France, everywhere, coming to the tomb and the mamas and papas to touch the Bible and to give love to the Jewish people. So, so bottom line is that Mehdi, like, that question is silly. Of course, people are coming back to Israel because all these newfangled progressive jihadists, the red-green alliance and all that, it's all Johnny come lately, come here today, gone tomorrow ideologies. The Jewish people in the land of Israel, that's the root of stability for this world.
The evidence you see that actually, no, Israel's isolation, Zionism's taint this time is more enduring. Liking this video?
No.
Then don't just watch. Hit like, share, and subscribe. And tap the bell.
That ain't
so you never
happening,
miss a video
Mehdi
or live
Hassan.
show.
The only thing I like about you is when I can make fun of you on my show, so you can forget it.
But if you want early access to exclusive
Early access, read the Bible. You'll find out what's really going to happen.
content, then you have to head to Zeteo.com.
Zeteo, what is that? I think is that a kind of steak? What is that? I think. Wait a minute. My doctor, he prescribed Zeteo the other day. I take Zeteo, I feel much better.
And subscribe now. You'll be supporting fearless, independent journalism.
Fearless what? Fearless jihadism. I don't want to be supporting that at all.
First of all, it's not just about isolation. There are internal dynamics in Israel. Yes. There's a social implosion. There is an inability.
Social implosion. Have you been to the cafes recently? Have you been to synagogue recently, Ilan? I mean, I'm guessing that you don't have anybody to go to the cafe with, except for some losers. And I'm guessing that you don't go to synagogue too often. So social implosion, I would say there's a population explosion, and that doesn't come from no population social implosion.
Of the Jewish society to find a common base for their idea of what a Jewish state means. It's not an intellectual debate. It moved to the street. It moved to the political system, to the educational system, to the judicial system. Israel is disintegrating from within.
Do you believe this? Do you believe this? How does Abramovitz call it? Hooey. Do you believe any of this hooey? Do you believe in any of this hooey? Israel's disintegrating from inside. This is just flat out. This guy's dream is that this would be true, but there's no such thing at all. Israel's incredibly integrated. It's got its issues, for sure. It's far from disintegration.
This is nothing.
In fact, it's like one of the most integrated countries you ever seen. It's got like a mission statement. It's got bad guys that remind it. It's got a yearning for the Bible. The trajectory of Israel is like this. Yee-wee.
To do with internationals, the international reaction to the Israeli actions. As for the other challenge that Israel has, the fact that it will continue to oppress the Palestinians and maybe move from genocide to incremental genocide.
Do you guys believe this stuff? Do you guys believe this stuff? We've been fighting the jihad. They love to say it's genocide. Everybody knows it's not genocide. Everybody knows that if Israel wanted to genocide, we could genocide, but we ain't genociding nobody. I do hope that there will be more refugees leaving Gaza and finding their home elsewhere. Incremental genocide, all this stuff. All what he means is war of survival. When you ever hear the word genocide, just be like, you mean war of survival. Jewish people trying to survive. There are 400 million Arabs in this region, and there are 7 million Jews. Who's genociding who around here? Okay, if the jihadists had it their way, they'd be genociding the whole of us. That's what they started doing on October 7th, and we stopped them. Now we're pushing back on those forces. When the bad guys like Ilan Pappe say that Israel's committing a genocide, just understand that he means war of survival. Should we listen just a few more minutes to this guy?
And the ethnic cleansing in the West Bank. You're absolutely right. There are setbacks.
We are jihadist cleansing, and we're not doing it enough.
Of course, there is still this international alliance that for mostly cynical and maybe some religious reasons continues to provide immunity for Israel. But I'm maybe because I'm an historian, I'm not impressed by these setups because I do think that there is a trajectory, there is a trend here. And the trend is towards the collapse of Zionism, even if it will be held or would be delayed by definitely regional or international developments.
Yes.
The same is true about other places in the world. I mean, the dark moment we live in.
All right, you know what? Here's what he's saying, right? When I was a kid, they used to have a T-shirt in America. It said, Nietzsche, God is dead. And the next line said, God, Nietzsche is dead. Zionism, the return of the Jewish people to the land of Israel and reforming a Jewish state and living by God's law and will and dream and fulfilling the promises of the Bible is going to outlast Ilan, Pappe, and Mehdi, the false Messiah, Hassan, okay? It's going to outlast them so much, and it's outlasted all of these haters and critics, even if they're haters from within. As we say in Hebrew, Ein ma lasot, there's nothing you can do about it. Am Yisrael is chai and shall survive. And this third ingathering of the Jewish people in the era of the third temple is going to be awesome. And you know what? With all the bumps and all the stuff, we're going to build that third temple, and it's going to be amazing. Okay, these guys have had enough time on my screen. I want to thank you so much for being with me. It's time for me to take off this hat. Hold on. Oh, I kind of like having those glasses. That was a lot of fun. Folks, I want to thank you so much for being with me. I want to send you a lot of love and a lot of blessings from the land of blessings. Thank you very much for joining me in my studios here in beautiful Judea, where we're back to the land and we are celebrating and we are fighting and we're fixing and we're beautifying, rectifying, renovating, pushing forward, seeing that Jacob's ladder. Today I prayed and I saw Jacob's ladder in front of me, and I made my prayers go up on a ladder like angels going up to God, and I was hoping that he would answer back with angels coming down. That's this week's Torah portion. It's coming to fruition and to life, and you are a part of it wherever you are. Don't forget to support the show in the many ways. I want to thank Yo for being with me here and being also in the land of Israel on this trip that she's been on. Wonderful to have you in country. Thank you so much. God bless all of you. Please pray for our soldiers. Pray for our soldiers. Send your kids to be soldiers in the land of Israel, to volunteer in the land of Israel. Jews and non-Jews have amazing ways to come and volunteer and be part of this rebirth and biblical promise and rebirth and renovation and renewal that's happening around, renaissance that's happening right now. Yo says there are record numbers of young Jewish people joining the IDF and taking 2 years out of their lives to stand with their brothers born in Israel, people from the outside of the land of Israel coming in and being lone soldiers. It's awesome. And we are doing ourselves. This media stuff that you see, it needs support. It needs support because good media and happy media and strong media and faithful media needs support. So please go to buy me a coffee, buymeacoffee.com/Yishai and support there. Or go to Fight for Israel. Help buy tractors. Help beautify holy places. Help teach the Bible in the Abrahamic way. Most important is to subscribe and comment and be part of our show and all of our efforts. And that's it. Let's keep going, my friends. Zionism, not cynicism. Faith, not cynicism. Let my people grow. We are coming back to the land of Israel. Palestine is Jewish, and we are definitely making it happen. And we cannot be afraid. God is giving us strength. If you've listened to the show today, you are getting, I hope, Bezrat Hashem, I say it with humility. I hope that you're getting strength from the land of Israel. Have a great rest of the week. Stay tuned, stay calm, stay part of the story. Keep broadcasting that story. Lots of love and lots of blessings from the land of blessings. And shalom. Bezrat Hashem.